It's time for Saturday Hockey Talk. Hey, everybody, I'm Rick, and welcome into the channel. Um, we're going to talk tonight about the roster. I just put out a video today. Doing quite well, actually, a lot better than I thought it was going to do. And where I put out my prediction for the opening night lineup. And that's what I was talking about in the video. I think some people left some comments, didn't realize I meant only the opening night roster because, during the season, injuries, whatever, things change and the lineup will look a little differently. But anyway, so any ideas you guys have for that you want to talk about and go over what I did in my video? And anything else, I don't care. Anything else you want to talk about, let's do that tonight. And let's see who's here. Well, Mr. Phil. Hey, Phil, how's it going? He says 9 p.m. What is this? The new late show? It's not late. It's 9. Well, you have a young kid, so a baby. So yeah, it might be late for you, but it's not really late. Hey, Tony and Joe. Hey, Joe from the future. All right, so I don't know if you guys who are here, well, there's 7 people here, have seen my video or not. But let's go over any ideas you have for the lineup. I did all 4 lines. I actually did leave something out in the video that I don't know if you saw it, and you might have noticed, you might not have noticed. I didn't put in the goaltenders because I kind of thought opening night's going to be Monty. I think anyway, and it's Monty and Dobish for this season, so I didn't really put them in the video. Now, the truth to that is I didn't put them in the video, but I didn't do that on purpose. I just forgot to put the goaltenders in. So there you go. I admit things. Phil says, I should put that down there, right? Phil says we're basically missing a cheap vet or what do you mean? A project. Okay. Well, you said recoup. Like what? We're going to recoup something? I guess you mean it in French. For the 4th line, left wing, and 3rd right-hand D. We don't actually. 4th line, left wing. Well, I don't know who you have on your thing. It's gonna, in my opinion, it's going to be Josh Anderson. So I don't know why you think that we're missing a 4th line left wing or not. And a 3rd right-hand D, yes, we don't have one, and that is true. But I don't think there's a problem because, first of all, Gooley can play on the right, Struble can play on the right, and so can Hudson, really. So I don't think that's a problem. I don't. I think it's going to be Gooley playing that role. And like I said, if not, I mean, Struble did it last year. Even Hudson played on the right. I don't think that's his best side, obviously. I don't think they're going to do that with him this year, but I don't think it's a problem right now. I don't think it's not ideal either, but I mean, I like the guys that are here. Who are you going to trade on the left side? I know everyone's going to say Matheson. I don't think they're going to trade Matheson till at the earliest the deadline. And if they don't trade him there, they're signing him again. That's what I think. Where was I? I can turn that off now. Hey, Roger. How's it going, man? It's recouper. I guess that is the right word. I don't think that's the right word he was looking for. A reclamation project. I think that's the word. That's what the word he was looking for, in my opinion. Phil also says, again, we are short on left wing. Reed, left-handed shooter. Except that doesn't matter because this is the modern NHL. And in the modern NHL, not all wingers play on their side. Like I'm a right-hand shot. There's a lot of right-hand guys that play either both wings, or there's a few players that on purpose prefer their off wing. Caulfield would be one of those, wouldn't he? He's a left wing, right shot. So if you're a left-hand shot, you got to be. Is that what you're saying? No, it doesn't work that way. Most guys today who play wing can play either side. I don't think that's a problem. Sid the Kid can play goalie. I don't know that I want to do that. I think Joe is saying what to Phil? That has to be the most hilarious thing I've ever heard in terms of trade rumors. What's that? Oh, do we have a trade rumor here? Whoops. What trade suggestions? I didn't see any. Did I miss something? I missed something, I guess. I don't know. I'm not sure what you're talking about there, Joe. Let's see. I don't think I think Montreal's done. I really do. I don't think there's going to be any more movement. Unless they're not going to find that second line center that we were all expecting. I think they're hoping one, Kirby Dach is that guy, and he proves it this year. Zachary Bolduc steps up and challenges for it and proves that he's that guy. And if not, honestly, unless they find that guy during the season, which might happen, but probably won't, it's going to be next off season for that, in my opinion. So, hey, Bruce. How's it going, Bruce? Anyways, listen, if you guys have ideas for, players out there that you might want Montreal to go after, whatever, it's time to talk about it. We'll talk about whatever you guys want to talk about. I just thought since I did the lineup video, at this time in the summer, it's hard to come up with topics unless something happens. And since I did that video, I thought, well, lineup predictions, anyone? So basically, you guys have heard mine, and I can go over here. I have my work here, but I'm more interested. I'm sort of more interested to hear what you guys think the lines will look like, and then I can I'll give you my opinion on it. So that's what I was kind of hoping for. But whatever, if you have something else you want to talk about, if you have a question about something and I can answer it, go ahead. Don't be shy. Saturday Hockey Talk is to talk about whatever you guys want to talk about in hockey. I'm good too, Bruce. Thanks for asking. I appreciate it. Joe says, I can see the 2C arriving by the trade deadline. Possibly. I would say for them to find the guy that they're looking for, I think that's an off-season deal. And listen, it could happen this year still. Obviously, there's time. I don't know who's out there. So definitely it's not going to be a signing. It doesn't look like it's a buyer's market. It's a seller's market. So I don't think they're going to go out and overpay for a guy unless that's the guy they want. And what do I mean by that? For whoever they're looking for, whatever attributes, all that. If they find that guy, they'll overpay for him. I believe that. But I don't think they're going to find that guy this year. I don't think so. And considering the moves that they have made, I think they're pretty much done. And that includes, I don't think they're trading Matheson. And I think there's some good arguments for not trading Matheson right now. And if you noticed in my lineup for defense, I didn't have David Reinbacher in there. And hence the reason why I think Matheson doesn't get moved, because if Reinbacher's not ready, and there's a good chance that he's not, at the very least to start the season, what are you going to do? You need somebody that can play there. And we don't, if you move Matheson and then Reinbacher isn't fully ready, you're either playing a Reinbacher that's not fully ready, or you got to go find somebody. Well, you got Matheson here. I don't think they're moving him. Let's try. My mouth not working. Let's talk Trudeau and Farrell. Both need to go through waivers. Yeah, somebody in my video made a comment that they wanted Sean Farrell to be the 2C. I think that's a stretch. I think that's a big stretch for a kid that barely's played here. So I don't know. Now with Trudeau, yeah, there's a guy that if they move Matheson, maybe you can call up Trudeau and you'd be fine that way. I'll admit that might be something that they do. But I just don't see it. I think Matheson's going to stay for now. Could I be wrong? Of course I could be wrong. Wouldn't be the first time. Bruce says, I feel Brock McGinn could be a good addition on the third line, maybe. Now, just because I could be dumb, but didn't Brock McGinn used to be like a singer-songwriter from the 70s or the late 60s? Is that wrong? Or that's Roger McGinn? Oh, that's it. I answered my own question. I'm blanking on who Brock McGinn is, so I don't know that I could. I just blanking on that guy. Yeah, I don't think we have a problem on fourth line. The only thing you could say is in my video, fourth line is going to be bloody expensive next year if they do go with Anderson, Gallagher, and Evans on the fourth line, which I kind of think they're going to do. It depends how things shake out. But remember, my lineup video was opening night roster. Because as soon as game 2, which is the next night, and likely there could be lineup changes already, things could change if they don't like what they see. You feel I feel we can make a deep run as well. And when you say a deep run, I mean, you're talking about not going to the finals, but I think they can make a good run, not only at the playoffs, but win a round maybe, and maybe more. I don't know, but I think they still need to break right in certain aspects, but I believe this is a playoff team as it is right now. That's what I think. I also think when you're talking about a 2C, and I'm going to get a 2C, because here's another point. If they were still going to get another 2C, or they had somebody in mind to go to pursue, I don't think they signed Joe Veleno. Now, I could be wrong on that, but I don't know. I don't think they do that. So I think them bringing in Veleno, maybe there's a reason or two other than what I think, but I think that kind of they're not going to find the guy they wanted there at 2C, so they're going to do what, give Doc a shot, maybe Bolduc, and they filled in that third line center with somebody that's got NHL experience. That's how I see it. Once again, could I be wrong? Yeah, good. ABL, how's it going, man? A fourth line costing you 11. No, that's cheap, right? Price it out. 6.5 and 5.5. That's 12. And you got 2.85 for Evans. That's almost 15 million. It is out of whack, but we're talking about one season probably doing that. And maybe I'm wrong in how I have it, but I don't think they're going to put Bolduc on the fourth line. Veleno could be fourth line center, and they move Evans up. But are they going to do Evans, Gallagher, and Anderson as a third line and have Newhook, Veleno, Bolduc as? Or if Laine's on that line, have Laine on the fourth line? I don't see it that way. To me, this is the way it makes most sense for opening night, and that as a fourth line could be broken up, could be changed the next night. I just see this being the opening night roster, as long as obviously there's no more new additions to the team or subtractions. That's how I see it. Oh no, not Doc. You made me think of, oh no, it's Mr. Bill. I don't know why I thought of that, but that's what I thought of. Um, yeah, listen, there's plenty of Doc haters out there, and I get that. Um, but I mean, Doc's going to get the shot. They've already said it that Doc is going to get a shot in camp, so we already know this. I do believe Bolduc is going to get a shot in camp as well, or else why are they working on him with faceoffs so urgently this at this time in the off season? They're already starting working with him, Mark Bureau and him. So I think it's between Bolduc and Doc right now. Unless Bolduc wins it outright in camp, I think Doc starts the season at that. And then if he falters, they go to Bolduc. Unless there's, because I don't, who else? We know Newhook can't really do it. So it's not going to be Newhook. Evans isn't a second line center, so it's not him. So who is it, right? In the absence of them bringing in somebody else, it's going to be between Doc and Bolduc. They told everyone to work, everyone, but when you're hearing reporting that I heard, they didn't say everybody's working with Mark Bureau. They did say specifically Mark Bureau and Bolduc have started already working on faceoffs. So they may have told everyone to work on it, in your off-season workouts, but specifically with Mark Bureau, I doubt that personally, because I don't think everyone is in town either. So they can't be doing that. Bruce says, I read that Lane's brother could be good too. Oh, well, yeah. Cole Hudson. He's with Capitals, no? I kind of, they say he could be better than Lane. I don't know. I'm going to have to see that to believe that, but maybe we could trade for his rights. They could have drafted him. So they chose not to, and I don't think they're going to trade for his rights because they could have drafted him. Now I want to say that in that I don't remember what year, but it was the year of Demidov draft, so they didn't have a second first round pick. So I don't know why I'm saying that, but he was available. I'm not sure where in the draft actually, first or early second. I think in the first. Anyway, I think they could have drafted him. They didn't, and I remember reading something about it or hearing from Hughes something about that they didn't really have an interest in getting Cole Hudson. I don't know where I heard that. I'm just gonna go off camera for a minute or two, but I'm right here. I'm not going anywhere, and I should put this on. Don't know if you guys can actually see that when the comments are up. Just because he's going to be good and all that, I mean, you can't draft every player that's good. And just because he's Lane's brother, I mean, I don't know that they wanted to have two, although he's not as small as Lane. I don't know the reason behind it, honestly, but I believe he was available at the time they were drafting and they didn't draft him. And I did hear, I don't think I'm making that up in my own head, that Hughes had talked about it or was asked a question about it and said that they did not have him like as somebody they were going to draft at that spot. And also maybe they feel that Cole isn't just going to be as good as Lane, and they got Lane, and they need to get bigger. Although I think Cole Hudson's like 6 feet, so he's not small. Tony, another Tony in here. Do I remember Ma? Did you mean do I remember you? Or do I remember your mother? I don't know. Well, you made a comment earlier, so right. What does that say? Do I remember Ma? Like my own Ma? I hope so. Markov, okay. Let's see. Do I remember Markov? He sounds, that name sounds really familiar. I want to say, did he wear number 79? And was he one of the best fucking defensemen we've had in a lot? Of course, I remember Markov. I'm 62, dude. I go that far back. What would you like to know about Markov, or what would you like to talk about Markov? And in the meantime, I'll answer this. Do I feel it's better to have Line A on power play 1 or power play unit 2? I don't know. He might be on the second unit, depending how it unfolds. Think about who's going to be there off the top of our heads. Hudson. We'll go Demidov, Suzuki, Caulfield. And I don't think Line is going to be on 1. I think Line is going to be on power play 2. But, that's going to be good now because you got Dobson quarterbacking that. And you've got better players there. In general, I think both units are going to be pretty goddamn good. But I'm not saying for sure that I think Line A will be on power play unit 2. Off the top of my head right now, how I went through it, I think there's a chance that he could be on the second unit. There, I covered my ass there, right? I covered my ass on that one. Yeah. Still waiting on Tony for what is it about Markov that you would like to know or remember? Or did you hear something about him? I haven't heard anything about Markov in a little while. And let's see, where'd everybody go? Everyone got quiet. Yeah, I mean, what do you guys think the defense is going to look like? That's the hardest part. I know we talked about it earlier, but I haven't heard really from you guys. What do you guys think the defense will look like, and who plays where? Because for me, other than Dobson, I think Dobson is the first pair this season. I think next season, I think Lane Hudson's going to be there. I call it a gut feeling, whatever. I don't think he is the number 1 guy this season. I think he's the number 2D, but he's going to play on the second pairing. Because if you put Dobson and Hudson together, I don't think that works. I don't think that works. Where am I? Hang on. I got to see where I was there. Tony says, okay, do you remember when he injured his knee? Yep. Ankle. Wasn't it his ankle? Maybe it was his knee. And then he had it repaired the following year. Well, that's what happened to Doc. Was it a knee injury or an ankle injury? Why do I think an ankle? Someone want to tell me why I think something? Well, that's what happened to Doc. If you mean that by the fact that after Markov for basically 2 seasons, Markov, we thought he was done. But once he did come back and he was able to continue his career without getting injured again. If that's what you mean, then, I mean, sure, that could happen to Doc. I don't know that it's the same injury, though, between what they had. And I thought Markov was an ankle. Why did I think that? Somebody help me. So Markov was ACL, MCL? Okay. And for some reason, I can't remember what the injury was. Cole Hudson was second round, 43, and no second round pick for Montreal. But they did have, and they traded to move around, but they could have taken Hudson. I thought I was right about that. Right? They traded their second round picks away for something. I forget what the maneuvering was. Or I'm wrong about that. I don't know. BL says Robinson, Lapointe, and Savard are shoo-ins for the Hall of Fame. You talking about? Bruce says I agree about Line on power play 2 with Dobson. Yeah, I just that's where I think he's going to end up, or he's going to at least start the season there. Hey Johnny, good to see you again, buddy. Good to see you again. How you doing, man? Weber had an ankle. Yeah, I mean, a lot of guys had ankle injuries. I just thought Markov had an ankle injury. Yeah, why don't I remember that it was his knee? I do know that whatever exactly it was with the ankle or knee, I don't remember specifics about what the injury exactly was. Especially back then. I mean, you know, I didn't pay attention. It was the knee he was out. I don't remember paying attention. Is it ACL? Did he whatever, the injury might have been. Hell, did I know what an ACL and MCL was back then? I doubt it, to be honest. The second round, that's right, was traded for Hage. That's right. But so the point being that Hudson was there at a time when they could have picked him. They chose, and I'm happy they did go for Hage. They traded two, but one of them was a later round, right? They traded anyway, they traded two from behind that, obviously, to move up, right? Obviously. I mean, brilliant me thinking that, right? Do I like the Veleno signing? Yeah, I actually do. I did a video on it. You can go look at that. And yeah, I listen. It's a no risk signing. He's an experienced. He's got NHL experience. He's a bottom. He's a bottom six guy. Yeah, but it's no risk. There's no term to it. 1 year, under $1 million. I mean, even if he doesn't work out and they go, yeah, whatever, waive him, send him to Laval, and you don't lose because you get your money back. It's $900,000. They'll get it all back. Yeah, how can they go wrong with that? And he's a Montrealer. He was born here in Montreal. He's really motivated. At 25, it's definitely worth the chance, the risk that is involved, and it's very little. Markov had ACL and meniscus. Okay, so not ACL, MCL, ACL, meniscus. And I think the meniscus was the thing that was the big problem, and that it took him a couple of years to get back to being able to play, because we did not think he'd be back ever. It just seemed like he wasn't going to come back. I remember that incident with it, that time. And when he did come back and he was as good as he was going forward and he didn't get hurt again, it was amazing. Would I bring Nazem? Well, I did a video that I don't think got a lot of looks. It was just music, and I did what was it? Prospect guys I thought they might sign or could come here. Kadri was one, but I mean, I don't think that's realistic. And from what I'm reading too since then, I don't like 4 years that he's got left, and the dollar value is high. So, like, if it was 2 years, maybe it wouldn't bother me, but I don't think they're going to go for somebody like that. I would prefer, if they're going to go at somebody like a Kadri, is they go for Ryan O'Reilly, which is not going to happen, I don't think, at this point. But I like what O'Reilly's got. 2 years left on his deal, $4.5 million, I think, or $5 million. I think he could do the job for 2 seasons as a second line center. But that's not how they went. They weren't going to give up a lot to bring in a guy, to hold the spot till Hage or whatever's ready. I don't have a problem with that. I think this team is still pretty good. I think they're still going to make the playoffs with Doc or Bolduc as your second line center. I kind of think Bolduc might have more of an upside to that. So it doesn't bother me, and I think it gives them another year to find that guy and to find the right guy, and not just bring somebody in just to bring somebody in. But with Kadri, I mean, it's 7.5. I think he's making something like that. Maybe it's something like that, and it's 4 years left. I don't really like that. I try to look things up to make sure I have the right info too. You don't know how many times I'm writing something, and maybe it's not even all that important, but it's like, I better know this. I don't want somebody saying, hey, you idiot, you don't even know that. So, yeah, I look up a lot of things that I have to know and have correct. Got to have some integrity. Let's see what else I got here that I can ask you guys about. Well, I mean, what do you think the bottom two lines are going to look like? And I mean, what my opinion is. I've got Veleno centering Newhook and Bolduc for line 3, and Evans, Anderson, Gallagher for line 4. How do you guys see it? I'm very curious because, this is my idea. It doesn't mean it's right. As a matter of fact, I'm sure they're not putting out this exact lineup. Something's going to be different. A couple of things at least. And I guess I'll go with this here, by the way. If you are if you're having a good time, give a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed, please do that. And I will do this. And check out the merch down. There's a link down there. Check out the merch. This is is the mug that I bought. Talking Habs logo there. Habnormal's podcast logo there, and then my hat. Habnormal's podcast, and then there's a Talking Habs logo, and it's embroidered. All available. You can check it out in the description. If you look down there, you'll see there. You can click and go look at it if you'd like. And if not, well, you don't have to. That's the beautiful thing about that. But if you would like to help support the channel, and believe me, the way ad revenue is going these days, this channel needs all the support it can get. And also, I should say, mug and hat made and shipped and made in Canada. They do that out of Canada. The T-shirts are coming from the States. But the hats and the mugs in Canada. Canadian jobs. So I support that. My T-shirt that I ordered was supposed to be delivered today. Did not get delivered today. And as a matter of fact, it's a complaint. But I do know everybody else that's ordered got everything. So it's just me for some reason. The tracking number, check it. It's since July 6th has said shipping whatever, like received. So they typed in, hey, come pick up this package. Still sitting there as far as I can tell. So that's the only thing, and I'm the only one. Everybody else that has ordered has already gotten all their stuff. So shipping isn't that bad. And if you're ordering a mug or a hat, comes in pretty quick. The mug is really fast. And the hat took a little longer, but it didn't take that long. I like it too. Very nice hat, very comfortable. And I mean, it's my logo on the front. I never had a hat where any of what was on there had anything to do with me. So I kind of like it. All right, let's get back to some stuff that's not about me. Tony says, Bolduc Newhook and Anderson for third line. I've seen a bunch of people with that, actually. Sorry, my nose is itchy for some reason. I've seen that a bunch of times. Yeah, I don't have a problem with that at all, actually. And I can see maybe Veleno does play a wing on the fourth line. I can see that too. So I think that is a possibility. It's just not the way I went. That's all. At this point, Johnny, I can't see them making that, getting McTavish. I kind of think they wouldn't have signed Veleno, even though it's not a big dollar value and it's only 1 year. But I don't think they would have if they thought they were going to get McTavish. I mean, you could have kept Veleno maybe. Just hang on. You just wait a little bit. We'll get back to you. It won't be long. And try to get McTavish. Just what's it going to cost to get McTavish? I don't think they're willing to pay that. That's what I think too. And is McTavish really available? Is he not? I know he's feuding with the Ducks because he wants to play, center and blah blah blah. But I think they'll re-sign him, and it'll probably be fine down there for him. Yeah, but we've seen Newhook on the second line. I don't think it works. And we've also, he was okay. But you saw last season, right? He didn't really pick up his game till the second half of the season and all that stuff, right? I don't think he is a second liner here, especially with the guys that are here. And I don't think if you want to go with Anderson there, I don't think that's it. Tried, didn't work. Tried again, didn't work. They tried it again, didn't work. And I don't think they're going to try it again. So Andy is a bottom six guy now. He relishes in the role that he plays, and he's good at it. And yeah. But I could definitely see Andy being on the third line. I just don't know. Like, it would have to be Veleno. That would go backward. You put Newhook at center, and you put Andy and Bolduc on the wings. I could see that. I could definitely see that. Newhook has a little bit of he's got a little bit of proving to do if he's going to play higher than on the third line, I think. Billy Bishop. How's it going, Billy Bishop? Haven't seen you in a while. Is Matheson staying? I believe so. Past this season coming, I don't know about that, but I think he's staying till trade deadline at the earliest to go. You know how I would see Matheson getting traded before that? David Reinbacher has a fantastic camp. If he has a camp where they go, we got to keep him, and it solves the third guy on the right side, I think they look to move Matheson. That's a possibility. But if he doesn't make it at a camp where he's killing it in camp and he's a no-brainer, Reinbacher's on the team, Matheson to me is safe. Who was my all-time favorite number 22? I mean, it's not like I didn't like Steve Shutt, and it's probably would have to go with Steve Shutt, but I did like John Ferguson, even though I was young. But John Ferguson was, I remember when he retired and he had some horses and he was doing a little racing at Blue Bonnets. I remember that when he retired. I don't know why I've got this liking for a guy I didn't see a lot. And when I did, I was kind of young. But yeah, John Ferguson, I think as much as Steve Shutt for some reason. I think most people, though, are going to say Steve Shutt, of course. But I'll tell you what, Fergie could play, He could play hockey. And in his day, if he wasn't the toughest, he was right up there. So, but Johnny, that's for us older guys, right? The younger guys, they don't remember Ferguson. Like I said, I barely do. And I remember when he retired, excuse me, when he retired, I, for some reason, went to Blue Bonnets with my aunt and uncle and my cousins, even though I was young. It was some kind of a special day. Ferguson was racing, and I remember we got to see him drive by in his sulky races. So in the carriage with the horse, and he was waving at everybody. I remember that. And I couldn't have been, maybe I was 7, 8, something like that. Well, this is an interesting question, too, from Billy Bishop. Would you resign Laine to a team-friendly extension? $5 million AAV, finally a full off-season. Staying in Montreal, just needs to figure out his 5-on-5 game. He needs to figure out a little bit more than that. I'll say this. I would not automatically re-sign Laine right now. I would wait to see how he does at least first quarter of the season. So 20 games in, then I could see them maybe making a decision either way, right? But he has to do a little bit more than 5-on-5 for me. He has to get a little bit physical. And I don't mean make big hits all over the place, but man, he goes up against the boards with his stick and he reaches in. He's 6'4", listed at 6'4". I thought he was 6'5", but he's listed as 6'4". He's a big body. Lean into some guys. Do a little bit of that. So he needs to do that. He's got to stop making that backhand flip pass, that little over. He's got to stop doing that. And goes a couple things like that. So I would wait, see how he does, see how it works out, see how everything is. Yeah, 20, 25 games into the season. Yeah. And he's not going to get 8.7 unless he's doing really well. If he's scoring and he's on pace already, it looks like he's going to score 50. He's not getting just $5 million. He's going to get more than that. My opinion. Savard also had horses, yes. But Savard retired way after that. This was Ferguson. Savard retired in was in the late 80s. It was 90s, early 90s. Savard retired. But yeah, Savard did have horses. Probably still does. BL says, I wouldn't re-sign Laine for the veterans minimum. I wouldn't disagree with you right now, to be honest. I need to. Now, I was the other way last season for most of it that he played, and then you kind of saw that where his game really was. So I would say, yeah, I want to see what he does, how he looks. And yeah, if he's not looking like he's going to earn that 8.7 that he's getting, maybe you don't really re-sign him at all. Because I want to re-sign a Laine that is going to get 40 goals. You know, no doubt about it. Doesn't look timid out there. That kind, like, I want to see a better version. I don't know. Yeah, BL, I'm not 100% on you with that, but I'm definitely more there than I was last season. No, I don't think he trusts him in certain situations. And why would you? His defense is not good. And he doesn't give that second effort that I there's things that I want to see with him. Hey, Joel, how's it going, man? Good to see you out there. Sorry, but I don't agree with your defenders pairing. Hey, that's fine. They're only my opinions. I don't expect everybody to fall over for my opinions. Here are mine. Dobson and Struble. Or Dobson with Struble or Jackeye. Hudson with Gooley, agree with you there. And Matheson with Carrier. Okay, two things, but it's really one. Struble and Arbor are not first pairing defensemen. So you can make your argument and say, well, I think of Dobson on the second pair, but you listed him first. I'm going to say that's first pairing. I'm sorry. I like Struble and I love Arbor too. They're not first pairing guys. And if you're going to have Arbor playing first pairing minutes with Dobson, it's not going to work and it's going to go bad. So my opinion. So I don't agree with you there. Hudson and Gooley, 100% agree with you. Matheson is not a third pairing guy either, in my opinion. So, yeah, I think Carrier is going to play on the third pair, even though I think he's a top four guy. But Gooley's not a third pairing guy either. So I think it's going to be Matheson with Dobson. That's my reasoning. Hudson and Gooley. And then it's either Struble or Jack Guy with Carrier. And then if Carrier happens to get hurt, Struble can play the right. And you see Arbor and Struble. But, man, Struble or Arbor as a first pairing guy, I once thought that about Arbor, that he would eventually be a top four guy, but I don't think ever a first pair. And I think you're just asking for trouble. As much as I like Arbor, I think you're asking for trouble to put him on the first pair. You're also taking away that physical part of him, where if he's first pair with Dobson, he can't take penalties. He can't do that, some of the things he needs to do. So I don't agree with it. But hey, listen, for anybody here, I know there's at times I can be rough on people who have opinions that don't agree with mine. Yeah, I'm trying to break away from that. We all have opinions. Yours are just as valid as mine. Why not? I might not agree with them. Doesn't make your opinions not valid. So I will try to be more that way. Like I used to be going forward. I used to be that way till politics got to me. And I think it took away some of my patience, which I'm trying to get back. I should take that comment down now. BL says Struble and Jack Guy he agrees with me. And I didn't see this till looking now. They're not, in my opinion. And BL's opinion. Line A either skates fast and never lies down, or he's toast by half the year. I'm not sure what you mean by never lies down, but I don't think he's the fastest skater either. Especially for a big guy too. But he skates like a big guy, not a guy where you go, he could skate for a big guy. I don't think that's Line A. So, but really, what does Line A have to do? He really just has to score. So if he's playing where he's going to get 50 goals, maybe only 25 assists, but he's on pace for 50. That's what he's got to do. Right? And then last season, though, that fell off, right? That scoring kind of fell off a bit. And he wasn't doing anything to compensate for it. And I know, he's got to do something. He's got to do a little bit more. Do I see Caulfield getting over 40 goals? Yes, I do. He had 36 last season. Considering line 2 is going to be actually, at the very least, a decent line compared to last year. So line 1's going to have a lot more space, a lot more looks. You've got the team itself overall is improved. So you can't key on that first line anymore. Fingers crossed that's how it's going to be this season, how it should be. To get 4 more goals, to hit 40 for Caulfield, I don't see why not. I don't see why not at all. Tony says Gooley Dobson, Matheson Hudson, and Struble Carrier. Didn't they try Matheson Hudson last year? It didn't go great. So I don't think Matheson and Hudson are a duo. Gooley, I think, can play with anybody. Honestly, I think Gooley can play with anybody. So where is he going to be more effective? In my opinion, you got the smaller Hudson, who has some defensive deficiency. I don't think that much of it, though, but he has some. And then you got Gooley, who's got the size, the toughness. He can play. He can keep up with Hudson, and he's great defensively. To me, until Reinbacher is here and established, I think Gooley is Hudson's partner. So, and Struble Carrier, 100%. That works for me. It's just that awkwardness of what do you do with Matheson. I think he's got to play with Dobson. I think it's two offensive-minded guys that can move the puck, yes. But I think both of them are slightly, to maybe more than that, underrated defensively. You can all laugh at me about Matheson. I don't care. Matheson's not all that bad defensively. But it depends on the role that he has to play overall. And I don't think the role last year was the right one. So I think if you get him on the line with Dobson, I think they can both. One can stay back. One, they can switch that way. I think if they find some chemistry between the two of them, I think it can be a good duo. So I have no problem with that. BL says, hate to say it, but Gooley will probably be on the DL sometime along. You mean what? DL, disable list. That might be that's potentially could be. It seems to have been every year so far, but we're talking about if we're talking about like my video that I did today, it's based on opening night. So I'm basically talking at the beginning of the season. Because things change after that, depending on people's play, injuries, things change. Guys get moved around shifts all the time. The pairings are taken too literal. You're right about that. But no, I don't think they're taken too literal. But you're 100% right that depending on situations in a game, guys can play with the other guys that you would go look. Are they playing together? And they are. But it's for short periods of time. And in general, these pairings play most of the time together. Joe says, first pair Hudson Carrier. I don't think Carrier is your first pairing guy, but Hudson and Carrier worked well last year. So that pairing I have no problem with. I just don't think Carrier is a first pairing guy. Second is Gooley Dobson. And like I said, Gooley can play with anybody. And third is Matheson, Struble, or Jackeye. All three lefts. Like that's even worse in that all three are left. So the three guys that you're going to have left over for the bottom pairing, they're all left shot guys. I don't know that that's ideal, especially when you got Carrier there. He's probably going to be playing that third pair. And you've got Gooley who can play on the right and play it pretty good and is going to play with Hudson, in my opinion. And if Hudson's going to be your first pairing guy, not a problem for Gooley to be a first pairing guy. Hudson Carrier is way too small, and I don't necessarily disagree, but they played them together last year, and it was a good pairing. That's what I was saying. I wasn't commenting on their size, but you're right. I think that is a bit too small of a pair. But since there's history there that they have played there and played effectively, if you have to go to it, I don't think it's a problem. BL says, let's not forget about Reinbacher. You calling him Reinbacher? You forgot Rickenbacker? What else you call him? He had better. He had better be close to ready. He was a 5th overall pick. What does that mean? Considering the injury he had last year, that gives him an extra year to develop. So I think you're wrong. I think you're wrong. And I think that's what they're going to do too. He's going to get that extra year. Again, unless Cap comes, we have Cap and he's just lights out. If that's the case, sure, he makes the team. I think if it's not the case, he goes down to Laval for further development. Who will be the one to step up into what was Armia's place on the PK? Let me think of that. It's a good question. I mean, I think, there are going to be some adjustments there as far as on the PK, how it'll look. Just because he was really good there, I don't think it was a reason to re-sign Armia. So, Veleno, I don't know if he plays PK. Bolduc. Oh, I believe Bolduc plays the PK. So probably Bolduc. Or it depends, there'll be it'll be a rotating thing. But I don't know about Veleno, so I don't know. I'm doing this on camera, and I realize that I am not supposed to do that. Oops. That's what happens when you get old and forgetful. Where was I? Joel says, I also believe that after Carey Price's $5.5 million bonus is paid on September 1st, Struble might be part of a major trade for the acquisition of a second-line top center. I don't think they're going to find that guy now. Because then why wouldn't they have already found that guy? They were allowed to go 10% over the cap. They were able to do that. So why wouldn't they have done that? Now you could say, well, they didn't find him yet, and it takes time to go. I mean, that's possible, but I think Price is going to get moved just to get the contract gone so that they don't have to use it before the season starts, and then put him on LTIR, which is great. That's fine. But they're going to want, I think, to move it before so that they can get everybody in under that without having him on the roster. It seems like Price's contract's going to get moved this season, I think. Will Struble be part of a major trade? Could be. Yeah, once his bonus is paid too, it's only $1 million that the team has to pay for him. That's all his salary is. Hudson and Struble was a good pairing. Yep. Carrier and Struble both played well with him, and so did Gooley. So you've got 3 options there with that. Joel says David Reinbacher, knee issues, I believe, could flare up continuously, and that scares me. Wrong. You're wrong. His issues with the knee are not what everybody thinks. You're all not. From what I know, he had precaution sit-downs. He didn't really have problems with the knee. It was precautionary because he came back quickly from the injury. They were expecting him to take longer. He came back. So they had situations where they said, we're probably best to keep him out. And that's what they did. And that's everything that I read. What's wrong with his knee? Well, he had the injury. So that's that. But before, there was talk about what was something with his knee. It wasn't anything serious, and it was I can't remember exactly what it was, but it was not a serious thing. In training camp last year, yeah, he did have an injury that was pretty serious. The reason they sat him in Laval, from everything I heard from the team, is it was precautionary, and he was actually fine. And people want to make a big thing. It's his knee, and it's going to happen all the time. And how many players have had knee issues and come back and have great careers? Why is Reinbacher different than anybody else? I know why. Because you wanted Michkov, and we didn't, and we took him. And that's not right. That's not right. That's not on this kid that he was picked where he was picked to make up things about his knee. I don't know why so many people are doing that. I don't. So I disagree with you. Joe only asked something out of curiosity. How far back was that, Joe? I don't remember. Oh, here, this one. Oh, there's nothing wrong with being curious about that. Hey, Matt Greer, how's it going, man? I'm well. I hope you are too. I would hope he accepts a coaching role at some point. Who are we talking about now? Carey Price? I would think that's a possibility. I don't think he's gonna go, boom, I'm your goalie coach. If he's gonna do that, I would think he's gonna go to Laval, somewhere else, and be a goalie coach and learn, and then come back here and be a goalie coach. I don't think he's gonna jump right in and be a goalie coach. Besides, we have one. My opinion. All right, well, we're at that time. So maybe I'll do a few more minutes. And by the way, if and I feel I should probably say this a lot, but hopefully I haven't pissed anybody off because I disagree with you or whatever. But if I did, I don't mean to. Yeah, I know that Reinbacher had to be sat, but when you say had to be sat, you're wrong. Because everything I've heard from people who know, it's not had to be sat, it was precautionary. And I heard that out of the mouths of Hughes, Gordon, and through a couple of Marinaro podcasts or Grant McCagg, people like that talking about it. So I think you're wrong. And you and BL and all the other ones are making a mountain out of a fucking molehill over Reinbacher's knee. My opinion. That's all. Okay, but how do you know what's wrong with Reinbacher's knee? How do you know? Are you there in the medical room? I have never heard it explained exactly what's wrong with his knee since the injury, but been said that it's because he came back from injury too quickly or very quickly. They're being precautious. And that is from the GM, from the VP of hockey ops, and from a bunch of other reporters. That's what I've read. I don't know what else to tell you. BL, well, you're going to have to be pissed. I can't help it. Okay, but I'm asking you, how do you know differently? I know. I don't fucking swallow the Kool-Aid, okay? How do you know differently? I explained how I heard it. How have you heard? I'm going to take it with a grain of salt that you can't tell me. Then I'm sorry. You then don't. If you can't tell me, then you can't also disagree with me and say I'm wrong. You can't tell me. Okay, you know, but you can't tell me. So I'm going to say, I don't know. I don't agree with you. I wish you could tell me, But everything I've heard, it's precautionary, and I don't know why they would be out there lying to us about it. And if you're going to go, well, it's because they didn't pick Michkov and they don't want to. That's bullshit. That's bullshit. He made his picks and he stands by them, and he doesn't have to hide from them. So I'm sorry. Didn't say you lied to me. You're not telling me. So since you can't tell me, I don't know. I didn't say you lied. Hey, Guru, there you are. I'm at the end, too. Beeve. Hey, the Beeve is here. There's a report that Hudson has had a noticeable growth spurt. I did not hear that. I wish you could tell me too, Joel. I really do. Listen, like I said, I'll take it with a grain of salt, but I know I've heard what I've heard. It's believable to me, and I'm not going to start believing that they're lying to me all the time, and I'm just not going to believe that. I'm not going to go there right now. So I wish you could tell me, but and listen, I didn't mean any insult. I hope you didn't feel that. And that's it for me tonight. I'm going to take off because Guru's here now, so I got to take off. Yeah, you're late, Guru. Yeah, so I'll be back next Saturday for another episode of Saturday Hockey Talk. This was fun, and I'm hoping one day Joe will be able to. Listen, if you're able to, I won't say anything. If you want to email me and tell me, I'd love that. I can only promise you I wouldn't reveal it. But you've got me curious. But I know everything I heard about Reinbacher's knee is there's nothing to worry about. Maybe I know what it is. Maybe there never was a knee. Reinbacher doesn't have any knees. What are you all talking? Why are you still talking about Reinbacher's knee? Why? What's wrong with everybody? It's fake news. And it's because of Biden that we're still talking about Reinbacher's knee. All right. On that note, I'm going to take off now. Like I said, I'll be back next Saturday. I don't know if we're doing the podcast tomorrow. A snag came up. Not sure what time and if we're going to be able to. But I'll be back next week. And if anything pops up, and I don't know what videos I'm doing next, but something. And if there's any news, I'll be doing a video. And that's it. I'm going to stop talking. Thanks, everybody, for being here. Till next time, stay safe out there. Peace out. And have a great rest of Saturday. Still only 10 o'clock. Ciao, everybody. Thanks for being here. And, yeah, I'm going to leave now. I don't know why I can't ever stop talking, but I think I'm going to stop talking now. Ciao, everybody.